The steam
Look at
from
what
the
they did to
showers
you.
still hung in the air like
You
a
can't let them get
confession
away
I
with
couldn't
this.
take back.
You have to tell
My
everyone
heart
what
slamming
happened.
against my ribs as the locker room door creaked open. I froze, towel slipping from my fingers. Every inch of me exposed under the unforgiving fluorescent buzz naked in more ways than one. The secret I'd buried deeper than my fear of losing him laid bare in an instant. Liam's eyes met mine, not with the disgust I'd braced for, but with a flicker of something raw and real that cracked the world open, pulling me into a current neither of us could fight. In that suspended heartbeat, the tiled floor felt like ice under my bare feet, the echo of dripping water mocking the silence between us. I was Jack Harlan, 18 years old, the quiet kid from the south side of Chicago who'd spent 4 years dodging shadows in the hallways of Lincoln High, pretending my glances lingered too long on the curve of a teammate's shoulder during practice. Football was my armor, the gridiron my battlefield where I could channel the storm inside without anyone suspecting the thunder was aimed inward. Liam Brooks, my best friend since freshman orientation, tall, unbreakable, with a laugh that could disarm a room and eyes that saw through bullshit like it was tissue paper, stood there, his gym bag thudding to the ground forgotten. We'd shared everything, late night drives blasting old school hip-hop, stolen beers behind the bleachers, dreams of escaping this Rust Belt town for something bigger. But this was the line I'd prayed he'd never cross. Jack. His voice was low, not a question, but a lifeline, stepping forward without flinching, his broad frame blocking the door like he was guarding a secret instead of stumbling into one. I scrambled for the towel, heat flooding my face hotter than the showers, words tangling in my throat. Sorry. Wait. Don't hate me, tumbling out in a mess that sounded more like a sob. He didn't turn away, didn't laugh or bolt or hurl the slurs I'd heard whispered in the stands. Instead, he shrugged off his jacket, draping it over my shoulders with hands that trembled just enough to mirror my own. Hey, man. It's cool. You're cool. Those 3 words landed like rain on parched earth. Simple and soaked in a kindness I'd never dared hope for from someone so straight-laced. So straight in every sense. In that locker room, amid the scent of chlorine and sweat-soaked leather, something shifted not just between us, but inside me, a crack in the dam I'd built around my heart. We didn't talk about it that night. Not really. Liam clapped me on the back, cracked a joke about how I owed him for saving my dignity, and we drove home in his beat-up Ford pickup, the radio humming low with some forgotten R&B track that filled the cab like fog. But as the city lights blurred past the windshield, neon signs flickering over Lake Michigan's dark expanse, I felt the weight lift, inch by inch. For the first time, the knot in my chest loosened, replaced by a tentative warmth that scared me as much as it saved me. Liam didn't pry, didn't push, but his silence wasn't judgment. It was space, an invitation I wasn't sure I knew how to accept. The weeks that followed blurred into a fragile normalcy, practices where I'd catch him watching not with suspicion but solidarity, his nods across the field saying more than words ever could. I replayed that moment in my mind 100 times, the way his brow furrowed not in revulsion but concern, like he'd seen a brother unraveling. Growing up in Chicago's working-class neighborhoods, where dads like mine fixed cars in oil-stained garages and moms like his packed lunches with notes of quiet encouragement, we'd both learned early to tough it out. Liam's family was the picture of Midwestern stability, his dad a retired cop, mom a nurse with a smile that could mend bones, while mine was a single-dad household, dad burying his grief for mom in long shifts at the steel mill, leaving me to navigate the chaos alone. Football had been our glue, the one place where labels dissolved in the mud and the roar of the crowd. But labels, they clawed at me in the quiet hours, when the house creaked empty and my reflection in the bathroom mirror stared back with eyes too haunted for 18. I'd known since middle school That pull toward guys that twisted like a knife, first crushes on faceless boys in magazines. Then real ones. Like the way my pulse raced when our quarterback slung an arm around me after a win. Hiding it meant survival in a school where fag was currency for cool kids. But Liam, he'd always been the exception. The friend who punched a bully for me in sophomore year without asking why the taunt stung so deep. One crisp October afternoon, after a brutal scrimmage that left us both bruised and breathless, we collapsed onto the bleachers overlooking the empty field. The sun dipped low, painting the sky in bruises of orange and purple, the wind carrying the faint tang of fallen leaves. Liam cracked open 2 sodas from his bag, his ritual. Always cherry for me, root beer for him, and handed mine over with that easy grin. "You been quiet lately, Jay." "Everything good." His voice was casual, but his eyes, those deep brown pools that missed nothing, held the question like a promise. I took a swig, the fizz burning sweet down my throat. Buying time. The words bubbled up unbidden, fueled by the adrenaline crash and the safety of his presence. That day, in the locker room, you didn't freak. Why? It was out before I could cage it, hanging between us like smoke. He leaned back, elbows on the bleachers, staring out at the goalposts like they held answers. Freak. Nah. You're my boy, Jack. Seen you fight through worse. Remember that knee injury last season? You limped through every drill like it was nothing. This. He gestured vaguely, inclusively. This ain't worse. It's just you. And if it's part of what makes you run like hell on that field, who am I to question it? His words wrapped around me, simple as a blanket on a winter night, but they ignited something fiercely, a spark of possibility in the ashes of my shame. We sat there as dusk deepened, talking in fits and starts about the pressure of senior year, college scouts circling like vultures, the fear of leaving this bubble for a world that might not bend. He shared his own cracks, his dad's expectations to follow in the badge, the weight of being the strong one in a family that leaned on him. For the first time, I saw him not as the unbreakable Liam, but as a guy carrying his own invisible load. And in that shared vulnerability, our friendship deepened roots I'd thought shallow. As autumn bled into winter, the changes crept in subtle, like frost on window panes. I'd catch myself standing taller in the halls, less hunched against the whispers. Liam started looping me into his inner circle, more deliberately introducing me to his cousin from Evanston who'd come out last year, sharing stories over pizza that normalized what I'd pathologized in my head. One night, snow blanketing the streets in silent white, we trudged to the old pier, boots crunching ice, breath fogging the air. The lake stretched black and endless, waves lapping like unanswered questions. "You ever think about it?" I asked, voice muffled by the wind. "What if things were different?" Liam shoved hands in his pockets, shoulders shrugging against the cold. "All the time. Life's a crapshoot, man. But whatever hand you get, you play it true. That's what matters." He turned then, clapping my shoulder with gloved hand. "I steady. And hey, if anyone's got your back in this game, it's me." That promise echoed through the holidays, a talisman against the isolation that crept in at family gatherings, dad's awkward pats on the back, aunts probing about girlfriends with pitying smiles. I tested the waters in small ways, a rainbow pin on my backpack, ignored by most but noticed by Liam, who just nodded approval. Spring brought tryouts and triumphs, our team clinching regionals in a game where I scored the winning touchdown. Liam's roar from the sidelines louder than the crowds. In the chaos of celebration, arms around each other in a huddle that felt like home, I realized his reaction that day hadn't just changed everything, it had rewritten the map of my world. Yet growth isn't linear. It's a spiral, pulling you back to face the shadows even as you climb. by summer's humid grip. With graduation looming like a guillotine, the doubts resurfaced sharper. We'd landed spots at the same state school University of Illinois. Urbana-Champagne's safety net that thrilled and terrified. Packing boxes in my cramped bedroom. Dad hovering with unasked questions. I confessed over the phone to Liam about the panic gnawing at me. What if college exposed me too soon? What if he tired of the role? His laugh was warm through the line. Tired? Jack, you're stuck with me. We're in this together road trip south for orientation. You and me against the world. That call ended with plans. Not fears. But as I hung up, the mirror reflected a boy on the cusp. Green eyes brighter, but still haunted. The drive to campus was a blur of interstates and diner stops. Liam's playlist a mix of our favorite Springsteen anthems for the open road. Quiet indie tracks for the miles that stretched hearts. We arrived under a sky bruised with promise. Dorms buzzing with freshman energy that felt electric and alien. Unpacking in our shared room bunk beds. Posters of the Bears and Cubs claiming walls, I felt the shift acutely. No more high school armor. Just us. Raw and ready. Classes started with a whirlwind lectures on psych that mirrored my inner turmoil. Lit seminars dissecting identity like it was fiction, not flesh. Liam dove into poli-sci. His debates fierce and fair. While I buried myself in art studios. Charcoal sketching figures that blurred lines between friend and more. Nights found us on the quad. Stars pricking the Illinois dark. Sharing smokes and secrets. One evening, as fireflies danced like lost thoughts, he opened up about his own fractures, a high school fling that fizzled, leaving him questioning the straight label everyone pinned on him. It's not black and white. Jay, he said, voice rough with uncharted territory. Sometimes I look at a Gael, at you and wonder what it'd feel like if I let myself. Not changing who I am. Just expanding it. His admission hung heavy. A bridge between our worlds. And in that moment, tears pricked my eyes not from fear, but from the profound relief of being seen. Truly seen. We didn't cross lines. We built them stronger, fortifying a bond that defied definitions. But life, that relentless tide, tested us soon enough. Fall semester midway. Rumors slithered through frat rows, a teammate from intramurals outing crushes in drunken haze. Whispers turning to stares in the dining hall. I shrank inward. Old habits dying hard. Skipping practices where eyes lingered too long. Liam noticed, cornering me in the library stacks. Books tumbling like accusations. Talk to me. Jack. This hiding shit. It's killing you and us. His frustration was laced with hurt. Brown eyes pleading. I spilled it then. The fear of rejection amplified in this bigger pond. The ache of wanting normalcy without erasing myself. He listened, then pulled me into a hug that crushed the air from my lungs fierce. Fraternal. Freeing. You're not alone. Never were. Let's face it head on. That resolve sparked action, joining the campus LGBTQ alliance. Tentative at first. Liam tagging along as ally. His presence a shield. Meetings in dim lounges became lifeless stories of coming out. Protests planned for Pride Month. Laughter that mended fractures. Through it, I watched Liam evolve too. His advocacy fierce. Challenging roommates' jokes with quiet steel. Earning respect that rippled outward. Winter break pulled us home to Chicago's bite. Families colliding in awkward cheer. Dad cornered me by the tree. Eggnog in hand. His calloused fingers gripping mine. Saw that pin. Son. Proud of you whatever path. Simple words. Born of Liam's subtle nudges over coffee chats. But they unlocked floods. Tears shared in the garage. Tools forgotten. As I traced Mom's photo and voiced the grief I'd bottled since she left. Back on campus. Spring bloomed defiant protests marching through Urbana streets. rainbow flags snapping in the wind. Liam and I led a workshop on allyship. His voice steady as he shared our story anonymized. The locker room. The leap of faith. Applause thundered. But the real quake was internal. My sketches shifting from shadowed figures to bold portraits. Colors bleeding vibrant. Yet climax brewed in summer swelter. Internship pulling Liam to D.C. for poli-sci fieldwork, leaving me adrift in a sublet. Letters actual ones. Penned in his blocky script-bridged miles, tales of beltway bustle. Confessions of isolation amid suits who sneered at woke kids. One night, phone pressed to ear across time zones. Panic cracked his calm, a colleague's homophobic rant hitting too close. Dredging doubts about his place in my world. I'm scared. Jay. He admitted. Voice breaking static. Scared I'll let you down. Or worse. That this ally thing's just a crutch for my own mess. My heart clenched. Miles meaningless. You're not a crutch. Liam. You're the foundation. Come back, we'll figure the mess together. He did. Train rumbling into Union Station under July stars. Our reunion a crush of airport hugs and unspoken vows. That fall. Senior year dawned with purpose. Thesis on queer narratives in American lit for me. Campaign volunteering for Liam. Targeting reps who'd stonewalled equality bills. Tensions peaked at a rally counter-protesters jeering. Signs clashing like thunder but Liam's arm linked mine. A wall of quiet strength amid the fray. Through it, our bond deepened layers. Late-night confessions over ramen, where he explored bisexuality's gray edges. Dating a girl from class, but admitting glances my way lingered. No pressure. Just presentia dance of what-ifs that honored our roots. I dated too. A barista with kind eyes. But Liam remained anchor. His laugh the North Star. Graduation caps sailed into blue skies. Diplomas clutched like talismans. But the real right was post-ceremony, driving west toward California dreams. Liam's pickup loaded with futures. Stops in national parks, Yosemite's granite sentinels. Pacific waves crashing, catharsis mirrored our path. Peaks of joy. Valleys of doubt scaled together. Years folded forward. Me in San Francisco's art scene. Galleries showcasing portraits of hidden lives. Him in D.C. Policy aid pushing bills that etched acceptance into law. Visits wove us tight, Thanksgivings in Chicago with dads swapping stories. Holidays blending families into chosen kin. One eve. Fog rolling over the bay. We walked piers echoing our youth. His hand brushing mine, not claiming, but affirming. You changed everything that day, I said, voice thick with salt and time. He smiled, eyes crinkling. Nah, Jack. We changed it together. And that's the story worth telling. In the end, it wasn't about labels shed or loves kindled, but the human weave, vulnerability met with grace. Friendships forged in fire blooming eternal. Liam's reaction that locker room afternoon. It didn't just save, might illuminated us both, proving that in the raw heart of connection, we find not just survival, but souls alight. The California sun dipped low over the horizon, casting long shadows across the deck of our rented beach house in Big Sur, where the Pacific crashed against cliffs like an old friend reminding you of wilder days. It had been 5 years since graduation, and here we were, Liam and I, bottles of craft beer sweating in our hands, the salt air thick with unspoken milestones. I'd flown in from my studio in the Mission District, canvases stacked in the trunk like unresolved sketches, while he drove up from L.A., where his latest policy gig had him rubbing elbows with senators who still whispered about traditional values. We were 23 now. The boys from Chicago's concrete jungle softened by time. But the core, unshaken. A quiet fire that had carried us through storms neither saw coming. That fire started flickering brighter last winter. when Liam called out of the blue, voice edged with that rare crack I knew meant trouble. J, I need you. D, C, S eating me alive. I caught a red eye, landing in a city of marble monuments that felt colder than Lake Michigan in January. He met me at Reagan, looking gaunt under the terminal lights, his broad frame slouched, eyes shadowed like he'd been punching above his weight class too long. Over greasy diner eggs, he unloaded the bill he'd championed, expanding trans rights in schools, gutted by party hacks, the girlfriend who'd bailed when his activist hours outpaced romance, the gnawing doubt that maybe he was chasing ghosts of our high school ideals. You're not a ghost, I told him, fork stabbing potatoes like punctuation. You're the guy who saw me, really saw me, when I was invisible. That's not chasing, that's living. He nodded, but the wait lingered. So we walked the mall at dawn, monuments looming like judgmental elders. Lincoln's gaze seemed sternest, but Liam paused there, tracing the marble steps. Remember Dad's stories, how he marched for civil rights back in the day. I thought I was carrying that torch, but lately, it feels like I'm burning out. We talked till tourists stirred, circling back to his apartment, a sparse one-bedroom with campaign posters curling at edges. That night, crashed on his couch amid takeout boxes. I sketched him sleeping, lines of exhaustion etched deep, but jaw set in that familiar determination. Morning brought clarity. He crashed my flight back, putting notice in pocket, trading beltway battles for California's sunlit reinvention. Now, on this deck, waves underscoring our words. He raised his bottle. To reinventions. And to you for dragging me out of my own head. Again. I clinked, warmth spreading not from the brew but the man across from me. Our lives had diverged yet converged, my art collective thriving. Murals splashed across queer youth centers from Oakland to Portland. His pivot to grassroots organizing. Training allies in red states where progress crawled. Visits were rituals, Thanksgiving charcuterie with my dad. Now dating a librarian who quoted poetry at the table. His family's barbecues. Mom grilling veggies with questions about my fella. Her wink inclusive. But beneath the ease, undercurrents stirred. Liam's dating life post-D. C. was a mosaic, women with firecracker laughs. A guy from a conference whose kiss he confessed over email soft. J. different. Good. Leaving me equal parts thrilled and tangled. Jealousy. Not quite. More a poignant ache. Wishing his explorations included me without risking the foundation. I dated Theo, the barista turned poet, whose verses wrapped around my sketches like vines, but breaks came gentle. Spaces for us to breathe. One afternoon, hiking Pfeiffer's redwoods. Sunlight dappled through ancient canopies like stained glass. We crested a ridge overlooking the sea. Breathless from climb, we sat on a fallen log, backs against mossy bark. Ever regret that locker room? I teased, half joking, the memory a touchstone worn smooth. He chuckled, low and rich. Regret. Man, that's the pivot point. Before, I was coasting. Straight arrow kid playing parts. After, I started asking questions. About you. About me. Led here to this. He gestured wide, encompassing the vista, but meaning more, the openness. The questions embraced. I nodded, chest tight with gratitude. It saved me. Liam. From hating the mirror. From silence. But you. You lost nothing, gained a hell of a lot. His hand found my shoulder. Squeeze lingering. We both gained. A lifetime of real. That trip sealed pacts, unspoken, monthly calls turning to quarterly escapes. Our bond a constant amid flux. Fall brought my first solo show in San Francisco galleries, humming with patrons in tailored suits and rainbow pins. Walls alive with portraits, a trans teen's defiant gaze, an elder's lined wisdom, and tucked in a corner, Liam's unguarded, laughing mid-story, titled Anchor. He flew in, suit swapped for jeans, front row with Dad, who's gruff, damn proud, choke me mid-toast. After party spilled to a Castro dive, neon buzzing, where he pulled me aside amid drag queen's cheers. This is you. Exposing truths. Changing rooms. Like you changed mine. Tears blurred the lights. I hugged him fierce, the world narrowing to his heartbeat against mine. Back home, Theo waited, but it was Liam's text knew you'd kill it. Love you, brother. That grounded me. Winter tested again. Liam's org hit roadblocks. Funding slashed by donors spooked by radical tags. He poured nights into grants. Frustration bleeding into calls where his voice frayed. What if I'm wrong for this? Pushing too hard. Alienating folks who could come around. I flew east. Snow blanketing D.C. In hush. Meeting him at a coffee shop near the hill. Over lattes steaming like breath. I shared my own slump. A commission rejected for being too political. The isolation of creating alone. We're mirrors. Man. I said. Your push is my paint. Doubts come. But quitting. That's the real loss. We volunteered that weekend canvassing Virginia suburbs. Knocking on doors where smiles turned wary at our flyers. One house, a dad. Burly like Liam's. Hesitating before signing on. Got a son like you. He muttered. Scared for him. Liam's nod was empathy incarnate. And later, driving back, he exhaled long. See. Change starts small like your sketches. Building to something big. Spring thawed resolve. His org rebounded with a viral campaign. Videos of ally stories mine featured. Locker room veiled as the moment truth hit. Views soared. Donations followed. And he called elated, we're winning. Jay. Because of us. By summer, I proposed a road trip redux, Route 66 backward. Chicago to Cali. Bookend by home. We loaded his new hybrid SUV practical upgrade and hit the road. Playlists evolved with podcasts on identity. Stops at diners dishing pie and perspectives. In the petrified forest. Petroglyphs whispering ancient tales. We carved initials into sand, not stone. But fleeting. Like us. You're my constant. I admitted. Wind whipping words. In a world that spins. He grinned. Arms slung casual. Ditto. And hey, if spins lead to more questions, we'll ask him together. That ethos carried into fall, my mural project in L.A. Partnering with his org for queer history walls. Brushes dipping community voices into permanence. Working side by side. Paint splattered and sun-baked. Banter flowed easy. But depths surfaced his budding relationship with Alex. A fellow organizer. Non-binary and fierce. Bringing joy laced with nerves. First time it feels right. He confided over tacos. Alex across the table oblivious. Fluid. Like us. I toasted. Heart full, pride in his growth. Peace in our plateau. Holidays blended. Chicago with expanded families, dad's partner reciting my exhibit reviews. D.C. Gatherings where Alex quizzed me on art. Liam's eyes soft with belonging. New Year's dawned in San Francisco's fog. Us on Twin Peaks overlooking lights like scattered hopes. Fireworks burst. But our quiet vow outshone to keep evolving. Supporting. Loving in layers that defied boxes. 2 years on. At 25. Pinnacles loomed. Liam's org testified before Congress. His words honed from our late-night rants echoing halls. Acceptance isn't charity. It's the air we all breathe. I watched streamed. Tears silent. Then painted the scene, him at podium. Light heroic. Titled voice. My book followed a graphic memoir. Exposed lines. Weaving our story through illustrations. Locker room stylized as abstract vulnerability. Launch in Chicago drew crowds. Old teammates clapping awkward. Families beaming. Liam keynote. Jack didn't just draw truth, she lived them. Pulling me along. That's power. Post-reading. Bookstore emptying. We walked snowy streets to our old pier. Lake iced fragile. Full circle. I whispered. He nodded. Breath clouding. And the best part. It's not ending. Just beginning. In that frozen expanse. With city hum distant. I knew. His reaction hadn't merely changed everything, it had authored a legacy of courage. Connection. Humanity's quiet revolutions. We turned homeward. Arms linked against cold. Steps synced in promise unbroken. The rhythm of our lives had settled into a cadence both comforting and charged. Like the steady pulse of a city that never quite sleeps, San Francisco's hills rising and falling under my studio window. Where morning light slanted across half-finished canvases depicting bodies in motion. Identities unfurling like flags in wind. At 26, I was Jack Harlan, no longer the boy cowering in locker rooms, but a man whose art graced billboards from here to New York. Each stroke a testament to the journey Liam and I had walked. Hand in metaphorical hand. He, now ensconced in Los Angeles with Alex, led expansions of his organization into education reform. Weekends blurring into strategy sessions that left him wired and wondrous. Our calls were lifelines, laced with laughter over small victories, me latest grant. His panel invite and the deeper ones. Like navigating Alex's transition milestones with grace that humbled me. Yet, as summer's golden haze enveloped the coast, a shadow crept unbidden, Dad's diagnosis. Delivered over a crackling line from Chicago. His voice gravel rough but steady. Cancer. Son. Prostate. Docs say treatable. But. Time to come home. The words landed like a gut punch. Stealing breath. And I booked the first flight. Texting Liam midair. Need you. Chicago. Now. He arrived hours after me. Train ticket rumpled. Enveloping me in the airport's fluorescent glare with a hug that anchored the spin. Dad's house. Our house smelled of hospital antiseptic overlaying familiar varnish. His frame shrunken in the recliner. But eyes bright at our entrance. Brought the cavalry. He rasped. Managing a wink that cracked my resolve. We tag-teamed those weeks, Liam cooking Dad's favorite chili. Me reading aloud from my memoir drafts. Voice hitching over passages about Mom's absence, now echoing this new void. Evenings found us three on the porch. Fireflies winking over the yard. Stories flowing like Bomb Dad recounting steel mill legends. Liam sharing policy wins with animated hands. Me sketching their profiles in notebook margins. Lines softening harsh realities. One night, rain pattering tin roof. Dad pulled me aside while Liam washed dishes. That boy's gold. Jack. Reminds me of your mazes, the heart under hurt. His hand, veined and warm, squeezed mine. Don't let fear clip your wings with him. Life's too damn short. Tears hot. I nodded. The weight of his words settling deep. Liam caught the tail end. Later in the guest room. As thunder rolled. He's right. You know. He murmured. Bunked beside me like old dorm days. About wings. About us. I turned. Shadows playing across his face. Vulnerability etching lines I'd not noticed before, years of advocacy wearing grooves. But deepening resolve. Scared. Though. Of losing him. Of this being the end of easy. He reached. Thumb brushing my temple gentle. Ends are beginnings. Jay. We've proven that. And whatever comes. I'm here always. Chemo cycles blurred August into September. Dad rallying with stubborn Midwestern grit. His bald head gleaming under porch lights as we grilled brats and dreamed aloud. Road trip to Yellowstone once clear. Me exhibiting in his hometown gallery. Liam's presence wove magic organizing care rotations with neighbors. His calm a counter to my fraying edges. Alex FaceTime support. Their voice a soft counterpoint. But it was Liam's quiet vigils. Hand on my back during Dad's naps. That steadied the quake. By October's chill. Scans glowed green. Remission tentative but triumphant. We celebrated subdued pizza on the living room floor. Dad toasting with ginger ale to fighters. And the fools who love him. Laughter bubbled. Real and ragged. And in its wake, I pulled Liam outside. Leaves crunching underfoot to the old oak where I'd carved initials as a teen. Thank you, I whispered. Back to bark. Stars pricking velvet sky. For being the constant when everything shook. He stepped close. Forehead to mine. Breath mingling warm. Family. Jack. Chosen and cherished. That homecoming lingered as I returned west. Canvases reborn with familial portraits, Dad's resilient smile. Liam's steadfast gaze pouring grief into grace. Liam dove deeper into work. His org launching a mentorship program pairing queer youth with allies. Inspired by our locker room lore anonymized as case study. Your stories saving kids. He emailed. Attachment a testimonial from a Chicago teen. Heard about the friend who stayed. Gave me courage to tell mine. Pride swelled. But November brought my curve, Theo resurfacing. Post-breakup epiphany in tow. Proposing collaboration, a poetry chapbook illustrated by my hand. Coffee turned dinners. Sparks reigniting tentative. But honesty nagged, my heart's quadrants. Liam occupying one unyielded. I confessed over wine one eve. Words tumbling. It's not fair to you. To the us we've built. Theo's eyes. Kind as ever. Softened. Fair's boring. Jack. Love's mosaic. Go build your peace. Relief flooded. And I called Liam Dawn's light. Voice hushed in the empty studio. Thinking of that peer talk. Questions. Still there. His pause hummed thoughtful. Always. But timing's a river flows when ready. Holiday circuits commenced, Thanksgiving in L.A. With Alex's family. Eclectic spread of tamales and tales. Liam's hand finding mine under table in solidarity as I shared Dad's update. Christmas Chicago bound. Tree twinkling amid gifts, me sketchbook for Dad. Policy book for Liam, nights by fire where stories deepened. His bisexuality now owned publicly. Panels where he spoke of fluidity's freedom. My coming gallery show. Themes of chosen kin. New year tipped into resolutions raw, for me. Vulnerability in art. Bearing relational webs. For him. Balance amid ambition. Carving space for heart. Spring bloomed collaborative and guesting at his L.A. workshop. Youth eyes wide as I drew live their dreams. Liam moderating with pride palpable. One girl. Braids flying. Hug post session. You too. Like superheroes. Real ones. Summer sweltered purpose. Dad's remission holding. Yellowstone trek realizagizers erupting like emotions long banked. Campfires crackling confessions. Under big sky. Tent zipped against chill. Liam's voice low. Thesis. Family. Fight, it's the life I didn't know to dream. I squeezed his hand in dark. Knew enough to grab it. Fall's harvest yielded fruits. My chapbook launch. Theo's verses dancing with my lines. Success sweet, but shared via Liam's midnight cheer. His org's milestone gala. Me toasting tuxedoed. To the man who turned exposure to empowerment. Yet autumn waned. Winter's whisper carrying challenge. Alex's job offer east. Pulling them toward Boston's academia. Liam torn between love and legacy. Calls grew laced with ache. his resolve fracturing over distance's preview. Don't want to choose, he admitted, voice small across miles. I flew south, meeting in neutral San Diego. Beaches broad as options. Walking surf's edge. Waves erasing footprints. I urged, choice isn't loss, it's evolution. You've taught me that. He nodded. Salt stung, eyes meeting mine. And if evolution means us, closer. Heart stuttered. Possibility electric. Then we evolved together. Resolution came gentle, compromise. Hybrid remote for Alex. Liam's or branching coastal. By year's end. 27 dawning. We stood Boston Harbor, Alex included. Triad tentative but true fireworks mirroring inner bursts. Liam's arm around me. Casual profound. Whispered, changed everything. Understatement. Rewrote the stars. In that harbor hush, with history's ships at anchor, I knew our story, born in steam and surprise, unfolded endless, a tapestry of trials transcended. Love's layered. Humanity's hopeful arc. Dawn crept over the harbor like a hesitant promise, painting the water in hues of rose and steel as I stirred on the air mattress in Alex and Liam's cramped Beacon Hill apartment. The scent of fresh espresso wafting from the kitchenette. At 27, Boston's crisp edge had sharpened us on crashing for a long weekend. Sketchpad already thumbed through with harbor silhouettes. Liam rising early for jogs along the Charles. Alex buried in syllabi for their adjunct gig. Our trio hummed experimental, shared dinners dissecting policy and poetics. Late nights debating identities' intersections. Liam's bisexuality bridging worlds with ease that envied me. Yet beneath the harmony, a subtle tension thrummed me, visits stretching longer. Heart tugging southward less insistently. Questions from that San Diego shore lingering like fog. Liam patted in. Towel damp hair. Offering mug with a grin that crinkled his eyes. Fuel for the artist. Dad called, says the mural's the talk of the block. His voice carried pride. Grounding. As I sipped the bitter warmth. Memories flooding of Chicago porches where such calls began. We'd woven this web deliberate, monthly rotations. Me shuttling coasts. Alex's empathy a welcoming thread. But spring's thaw brought bloom and Bramble Me Gallery in Frisco expanding to pop-ups. Demanding routes. Liam's org negotiating national charter. Travel blurring boundaries. One April evening. Video call glitching over jet lag. He confessed fatigue, love phthisis. The work butt pulling in 3 directions. Feels like fraying rope. Alex. Beside him. Nodded screen split. We're strong. But need anchor points. Jack. I leaned into laptop glow. Vulnerability schooled by years. Let's map it. No fraying, just flex. That map sketched weekends intentional. Memorial Day and Big Sur Redux. Tents pitched where redwoods whispered approval. Campfires crackling as we aired grievances, gentle me envy of their daily intimacies. Alex's twinge at my history with Liam. His guilt over divided devotions. Dawn hike crested with packed, open check-ins. No sacred cows. Love is verb active. Summer sizzled commitments. My mural tour hitting L.A. Brushes broad against warehouse walls depicting intertwined figures, echoes of locker room grace-scaled civic. Liam joined unveiling. Speech weaving personal to public. One friend's courage sparked a movement. Imagine millions. Crowd thundered. But his gaze found mine. Private thunder. Alex's semester wrap triumphant. Thesis on queer theory lauded. Celebrations spilling to Cambridge pubs where toasts sloshed with secrets shared. Back in Frisco by July's blaze. Solitude amplified Theo's chapbook sequel brewing. But evenings empty. Phone lighting with Liam's texts. Miss your sketches. Alex says hi in plot twist. They're eyeing Cali adjuncts. Heart leaped. But caution tempered. Wings. Remember. Fly free. Fall foliage framed crossroads. Dad's full remission party. Chicago ablaze in crimson. Old teammates toasting awkward evolutions. Liam flew solo. Alex prepping interviews. His toast ring true. Jack's art. Your fight family's the masterpiece. Post-fest. Pier walk turned pivotal. Lake mirroring autumn fire. Alex's offer UCLA. He ventured. Hands pocketed against chill. Means us all west. If you want. Words caught. Joy tangled with terror off change, a pending equilibrium. Of wanting more than equilibrium. Want. God. Yes. But scared it's too easy. After all the hard won. He pulled me close. Embrace fraternal fierce. Nothing easy about us. That's the beauty. November's gray gifted decisions. Alex accepted. Move slated spring. My studio sublet pending their arrival. Holiday circuit peaked Chicago blended feasts where Dad grilled Alex on everything from pronouns to poetry. Mom's old recipe book passed like heirloom. New Year's Eve. Frisco rooftop with skyline sprawl. We three clinked amid revelers, to transplants. To trials turned treasures. Winter's grip loosened into relocation frenzy, boxes labeled with care. Liam's SUV trailering east to west cargo. March bloomed arrivals Alex's excitement electric over palm trees. My space reconfigured to trios flow, shared office for work calls. Guest nook for overflow. First dinner. Takeout sprawled. Felt tentative holy laughter easing edges. Boundaries breathed. Yet integration's art proved practice. Mornings me sketching to their podcast hum. Evenings debates flaring passionate over dinner Liam mediating with humor honed. One made dusk. Argument over org priorities escalated. Voices sharp till Alex stormed balcony. Tears glistening. Liam followed. Me trailing sheepish. Sorry. I murmured. Handing tissue. Pushed too hard. Alex's hug surprised. Fierce. No pushed right. We're learning. Messy marvelous. That learning curved summer, joint workshop. My art fused with Liam's ally training. Youth from L.A. Shelters drawing dreams defiant. One boy. Eyes haunted like mine once. Clutched my sketch. This me. Brave. Braver. Liam affirmed. Arm around us both. Fall's harvest ripened bonds. Gallery co-show. My portraits alongside Alex's theoretical essays. Liam curating ally panel. Opening night buzzed electric. Patrons mingling. But quiet corner held Ushin's linked casual. Worlds converged. 28 dawned reflective, Dad visiting. Marveling at our chosen commune. His health robust. Stories now laced with legacy talks. You built this. Son. From that scared kid to this. Pride swelled. But introspection shadowed anniversary nearing locker room's echo. Prompting heart-to-heart over wine. 10 years. Amused. Balcony overlooking city lights. Your reaction. Catalyst. Liam's smile soft. Ours. And now. With Alex. You feels complete. Not crowded. Alex joined. Glass raised. To catalysts. And continuums. Yet life's script twists unbidden. October call from Chicago. Dad's voice waiver relapse. Aggressive. World tilted. Flight booked frantic. Liam and Alex piling in. Trio's strength tripled. Hospital vigils blurred infusions dripping time. Dad's grip weakening but wit sharp. Don't fuss. Live loud for me. We did, rotating stories bedside. Me sketching his hand veined wise. Liam advocating for palliative care seamless. Alex reciting poems soothing. Final days home hospice. Porch converted sanctuary. Family orbiting cousins. Old friends. Teammates long lost. Last breath came dawn. Sun gilding room gentle. His eyes locking ours, proud. All of you. Sobs racked. But in grief's cradle. Gratitude bloomed his love the root of my reach. Funeral rain soft. Eulogies woven, mine of hidden pains healed. Liam's of fights shared. Alex's of kin expanded. After. Pier gathering ashes scattered lakeward. Waves claiming gentle. Winter healed slow, support groups bonding us tighter. My art pouring elegy exhibit echoes. Dad's portrait central. Sales funding youth scholarships. Liam's or dedicated program his name. Allies multiplying. Spring's renewal whispered forward, 29. Horizons broadening book tour east. Me speaking panels with Liam. Alex tenured track. 1 June Eve. Yosemite return redwoods taller. Us seasoned. Cresting ridge. Vista vast. Liam voiced, he'd love this. Us. Thriving. I nodded. Tears salt sweet. Because of you all you. Embrace encompassed Alex. Circle complete. In that mountain hush. Stories arc clarified, from naked fear to clothed courage. Reactions rippling, revolutions personal. Profound. The ancient redwoods stood sentinel as we descended the trail. Their bark etched with centuries of secrets. Mirroring the lines time had begun to carve into our own story, subtle at 29. But undeniable. Like the faint scar on my knee from that long-ago scrimmage or the thoughtful tilt to Liam's smile when he pondered the next horizon. Alex walked between us. Their stride lighter now with 10 years security. Backpack slung casual over one shoulder. Filled with trail mix and the latest queer theory tome dog-eared from plane rides. Yosemite's air hummed alive with birdsong and the distant roar of falls. A symphony underscoring the quiet evolution of our triad, no longer experimental edges, but a woven whole, flexible as the ferns underfoot. That wholeness had solidified in grief's forge. Dad's passing a crucible refining us. Back in L.A. We'd mourned active weekly potlucks, inviting neighbors queer and questioning. Laughter punctuating tears as stories of lost loves and found families flowed. My exhibit's success cascaded, invitations to TED-style talks, where I'd project locker room abstractions. Voice steady recounting vulnerabilities valor. Liam moderated panels post-presentation. His questions probing yet protective. Alex lived tweeting insights that amplified reach. One night. Post-event hotel bar. Stranger approached. Your talk. Save my kid tonight. Tears pricked. We three linked arms. Toasting silent to ripples. Summer's heat wave baked ambitions. Liam's org franchising Midwest chapters. Him commuting Chicago quarterly. Roots tugging. Feels like closing circles. He shared over iced tea. Porch swing creaking. I nodded. Sketching his profile, jaw set purposeful. Eyes distant homeward. Alex's sabbatical aligned serendipitous. Joint research on art activism intersections. My studio, their lab. Canvases dialoguing data. Collaboration sparked innovation interactive installations where viewers traced identity maps. Inspired by our map-making months prior. Unveiling at a queer film fest. Crowds engaged tactile. Fingers lingering on lines echoing ours. Fall's palette turned introspective, 30th birthdays converging. Mine October fog in Frisco. Liam's November harvest in L.A. Alex's December snow-dusted Boston echo. We orchestrated caravan starting north. Ending south. Pit stops laced with rituals, pie at diners debating dreams. Stargazing confessions. My milestone dawn misty. Gallery friends toasting with mimosas. But heart home was Liam's surprise arrival. Alex in tow. Bearing cake inscribed naked truths. Clothed legends. Dinner intimate candlelit loft. Reminiscences rolling. High school hijinks. Crisis crossings. Love's labyrinths navigated. To 30. Liam raised fork. Eyes warm. Not old bold. Laughter bubbled. But later. Balcony hush. I voiced undercurrent. Age creeps. Worried we're settling. Alex's hand found mine. Settling. Not sailing. With ports aplenty. Liam leaned in. Consensus. And if sails need mending, we stitch. His birthday followed golden. Vineyard tour Central Valley. Grapes bursting sun-ripened. Us three amidst vines twisting like fates entwined. Tasting room reverie turned revelatory. Liam admitting career crossroads. National directorship tempting D. C. Return. Legacy lure versus coastal calm. Go if calls. I urged. Heart clenching. We'll bridge. But choice crystallized communal, hybrid model. Quarterly D. C. Immersions. Home base unyielding. Alex's December twinkled familial extended kin converging Boston. Menorah candles flickering beside Christmas tree. Traditions blending seamless. My gift, custom portrait. Trio stylized as constellation. Stars linking defiant. Winter's mantle cloak transitions. Liam's D. C. 4A inaugural. Me tagging for exhibit tie-in. Alex virtual anchoring. Capitol's chill contrasted inner heat panels packed. Lobbyists listening as we tag-teamed testimonies. My visuals visceral. His policy precise. Their theory threading. One eve. Smithsonian stroll. Monuments aglow. Liam paused reflecting pool. Full circle from Rust Belt kid to this. You. I traced reflection rippled. From hidden to herald. Us. Spring unfurled expansions. Book sequel greenlit. Lines unbroken. Weaving dad's legacy. Our triad's tapestry. Writing retreats big sir. Pages pouring as waves crashed cathartic. Liam editing margins. Alex fact-checking footnotes. Synergy sacred. Yet June's solstice stirred undercurrents. Old flame resurfacing. Minea curator from New York show. Emails escalating flirtatious. Honesty's vow prompted disclosure over brunch. Sun dappling patio. Intrigued. I admitted. Cheeks warm. But. Tethered here. Liam's nod measured. Explore. Tether stretch. Alex grinned conspiratorial. With debriefs. Obs. Date unfolded urbane gallery hop. Dinner discourse deep but post-midnight text to group. Sparks. But no supernova. Home's horizon. Their replies heart emojied relief. But conversation crested later. Fears of drift. Reassurances rooted. We're ocean. Liam analogized. Vast. But waves return. Summer's zenith tested tides. Or crisis. Thunder pull out amid political shifts. Liam's nights sleepless strategizing. I rallied crowdfund illustrated. Alex grant writing wizardry triumph in deadlines dash. Victory barbecue beachside. Bonfire leaping as we danced sand scuffed. Fall's equinox balance scales. My book tour launching Chicago. Prodigal return launch at Lincoln High Auditorium. Alumni filling seats. Principal introducing. Jack Harlan. Our own trailblazer. Reading excerpted locker room. Applause thunderous. Post-signing huddle with Liam. Brought it home. His D. C. Deepened testimony televised. Bill passing narrow. Victory call euphoric. We did it. Gyre story in the subtext. Alex's promotion followed. Full professorship. Celebration symposium where we presented triad's model. Polyamory as activism. Vulnerability vehicle. Q&A sparked. One student querying, jealousy. Ally to it. I quipped. Not enemy. Winter solstice, gifted gestation. Whispers of expansion adoption inquiries tentative. Fostering queer youth floated. Discussions dawnlit kitchen. Coffee steaming deliberations. Logistics. Loves. Legacies. 31 Dawn deliberate. Resolutions relational weekly wonder dates. Rotating pairs and all. Nurturing niches. Spring's renewal birth blooms. Foster certification commenced. First placement summer a teen named Riley. 16 and storm-tossed. Eyes wary wide. Integration initial Rocky Riley's barbs testing bounds. My patience fraying. Liam's calm catalyzing breakthroughs. Alex's empathy easing edges. One eve. Backyard fire pit. S. Moray's melting defenses. Riley cracked, thought I'd be alone. Like before. Liam's arm slung casual. Not here. Family's verb. My sketch later captured it, for silhouettes aglow. Lines linking loose, but lasting. Fall's harvest heartened, Riley thriving school. Art club convert. Our home humming fuller. Book sequel released rousing. Tours testament treatings resonant. Fans friending foster tales anonymized. Yet November's dusk delivered denouement's draft. Liam's org offered Helm International. Europe base tempting. Heart huddle ensued marathon prose expansive. Cons continental. Go. Riley urged surprising. Voice teen tenacious. Show him how. Choice crystallized Christmas, sabbatical year. Us rotating abroad me artist residencies. Alex sabbatical sync. Riley school tied, but video vested. New Year's Eve Prague. Snow-dusted bridges. Champagne toasting. To globals from local locker to world stage. In Voltava's flow. Reflections myriad. I knew. Reactions echo endless. Evolving us eternal bonds boundless. Humanity's hymn harmonious. Snowflakes danced lazy over the Charles Bridge. Catching in the spires of Prague's ancient stone like confetti from a forgotten coronation. As we for Liam. Alex. Riley. And I huddled against the chill. Scarves tangled and laughter steaming into the night. 31 felt mythic here. Far from Chicago's concrete pulse. Our sabbatical a tapestry of train rides and tentative trusts. Riley's first passport stamps wide-eyed wonders. My sketchbook bloating with Gothic graces. Liam's policy pitches to EU allies fervent. Alex's lectures at Charles University sparking student symposia. This leap, born of that international offer, wasn't flight, but flourish roots stretching transatlantic. Our family flexing without fracture. Winter's wander yielded wisdom's layered. Berlin's wall scars paralleling personal partitions dismantled. Amsterdam's canals mirroring fluidity's flow. Riley bloomed bold museums musing identities. Journal entries evolving from guarded scrawls to poetic proclamations. One Amsterdam eve. And Frank House hushed. They gripped my hand, hiding sucks. But found. Magic. Liam's nod. Arm around Alex. Magic we make. Spring's thaw trailed south. Florence's frescoes inspiring my residency murals. Pigments popping Renaissance reds. Liam networking NGOs over espresso. Alex diving archives on queer histories occluded. Riley intern gallery. Budding curator critique keen. Our Arabs evolving hubs dinners debating Da Vinci to diversity. Beds bunked familial. Yet May's bloom brushed brambles. Homesick pangs piercing Riley mid-Rome Colosseum. Echoes of abandonment anxieties. Colosseum's arches arched indifferent. But our circle closed compassionate ice cream cones melting apologies. Liam's stories of his dad's cop grit grounding. Alex's breathing exercises bridging. Missed the beach. Riley admitted. Gelato dripped. But this. Missable too. Summer's zenith pivoted homeward, flights west. Jet lag's fog lifting to L.A. Sun. Re-entry rituals reaffirming beach bonfires with Riley's school pals. My studio sessions syncing sabbatical sketches to series wander lines. Liam's org interim thrived under deputy. His return report rousing board. Global gaze. Local heart. Fall's academic churn welcomed back. Alex's courses crammed. Riley's sophomore surging. Me adjuncting art therapy queer center. Liam helming hybrid D. C. Dashes. Coastal core. 32 Dawn domestic. Birthdays buffered by Buffer's Mind quiet gallery crawl. Liam's vineyard redux with Riley pouring first wine, non-alcoholic nod. Alex's symposium surprise. Resolutions rooted. Mentorships multiplied Riley shadowing my exhibits. Us shadowing their steps. Yet October's amber lit litmus. Old teammate email. High school reunion invite. Laced nostalgia's hook. Come back. Jack. Show the ghosts. Liam's brow furrowed over breakfast. Ghosts or growth? We caravan Chicago. Quartet complete hotel humming pre-event nerves. Reunion gym aglow banners faded. Faces familiar furrowed. Handshakes hesitant to hugs heartfelt. Ex-quarterback clapped back, heard about the art. Man. Badass. Whispers swirled me orientation outed ambient but Liam's presence loomed loyal. Alex's charm disarming doubters. Riley's team candor cutting. Uncle Jack's cool. Deal. Post-party peer. Lake lapping legacies. A former bully approached sheepish. Back then. Kid stuff. Sorry for the hurt. Forgiveness flowed free. My nod North Star. Water under. Bridges built. Winter's weave warmed wounds. Holiday amalgam Chicago fusional. A. Style. Dad's recipes revived by Riley's hand. Toasts to absent but abiding. New Year's resolution. Radical rest quarter Sabbath. Unplugged upstate. Cabin cozied with books and board games. Bonds buffed bare. Spring's surge seeded surprises. Alex's pregnancy ponder IVF explored intentional. Us three, Riley honorary, deliberating dawnlit decks. Expand. Liam queried. Eyes alight. Expand. Consensus chorused. Clinics calendared. Yet June's joy Jared jolt. Funding freeze Liam's org. Recession ripples radical. Nights strategized star playoffs looming. Missions menaced. My art auctions aided. Alex's grants grueling. Riley's bake sales buoyant. Crisis crested congressional hearing Liam testifying terse. Cameras cold. Post airing. Green room grip. Nailed it. Necessary. Summer's salve soldered. Pivot to virtuals viable. Partnerships proliferating. 33 bloomed, bolstered birthdays, buffered buoyant. Mine mural commission civic center. Depicting diverse dynasties. Fall's fervor fathered fruition. IVF success announced autumn equinox. Embryo transfer triumphant. Waiting wombs wonder wove worries nausea navigated. Ultrasounds uniting. Riley's room redecorated neutral nurturing. My sketches soothing speculations. Winter's weight waned wondrous, December dawn. Heartbeat hum monitor. Tiny flutter fierce. Hours. Alex whispered. Hands layered hours. New Year's nursed nascent. Resolutions relational refined presence paramount. Spring's swelled bellies and Books Me trilogy capped. Circles unclosed. Launching London. Liam keynoting companion. Yet May's miracle manifested. Birth balmy morning. L. A. Hospital humming Elias. Eyes echoing Liam's brown. Cry conquering quiet. Holding hour. Heart hammered. From locker loan to legacy legion. Summer's symphony sang soft. Elias's coups counterpointing chaos. Riley relishing big sib. Us rotating rhythm snaps nested. Night feeds navigated. 34 dawn diapered. Birthdays baby-proofed. Mine Park picnic. Elias gurgling gallery. Fall's foliage framed family. First steps wobbly witnessed. Words whispered disputed delighted. Org rebounded robust. Liam's leadership lauded. Alex's tenure trailblazing texts. Winter's whisper willed wonders. Elias's first holiday. Tree twinkling tiny fingers. Toasts tender. To beginnings endless. In that glow. Stories strands spun seamless. Reactions ripple, radiating realms love layered. Lives luminous. Humanities hold hallowed. Elias's laughter bubbled like the fountain in the courtyard of our expanded L.A. bungalow. A 2-year-old tornado of curls and curiosity chasing bubbles that popped iridescent against the October sun. While Riley, now 18, lanky and luminous, lounged on the patio chaise. Smartphone scrolling college apps with a focus that mirrored Alex's intensity. 34 felt fortified here. Our home a haven he'd helped design, sun-drenched rooms flowing open. Walls wearing my murals of mythic families. Liam's policy tomes stacked beside Elias's board books. The sabbatical's global glow had grounded into this sustainable sprawl. Careers cresting without capsize. Our constellation complete, yet ever circling. That completeness had weathered well. Elias's toddler tyrannies tamed by tandem tag teams. Riley's high school helm handled with honors. My exhibits earning endowments. Liam's orbiting UN consultations. Alex's professorship publishing polemics. Yet autumn's amber hues hinted harmonics new. Riley's impending exodus, East Ivy acceptances beckoning Boston, or New Haven stirrings of empty nests nascent. One crisp eve. Dinner's detritus cleared. Elias, Abed angelic. We four, quintet with Babe's echo, circled hearth, Riley voicing valedictions veiled. Brown's calling queer studies. Activism track. Like you, Liam. Pride prickled his eyes. But pang pierced mine. Proud terror. I quipped. Wine-warming words. Our first fledgling. Alex's hand squeezed. Fledge with frequent flyers home. Liam nodded. Firelit, face fervent. Doors open always. Winters weave wove well. Holidays hybrid Chicago chapter with Dad's spirit invoked via video vignettes. Riley's last family feast festive. New Year's nursed nuances. Resolutions revisiting roots monthly, origin nights. Retelling tales from locker lore to labor wards. Spring's send-off swelled bittersweet. Riley's graduation garlanded glory. Speeches soaring sibling solidarity, Elias waving pom-pom proxy. Commencement after. Tear-streaked toast. From foster fold to fearless flight love launches. Summer's solitude settled soft. Riley's dorm drop-off delayed by drives nostalgic Grand Canyon gawking. Route 66 riffs revived. Eastward eve. Brown's quad quaint. Boxes bunked. Goodbye gripped gut wrench. Home's homing. Riley rasped. Hug Herculean. Return west rebalanced. Elias's terrible twos tempered talks deeper, Liam and I. Dawn jogs discoursing drifts. Kids grow. We grow. He mused. Sweatsheen sighed. Grow closer. Query quiet. Always. Affirmation ardent. Fall's freshman feedback flowed, frequent trialies, raves, roommate rapport. Club conundrums confided. 35 bloomed, buffered. Birthdays balanced mind, beach bonfire, Elias engineering sandcastles. Liam's policy gala where Elias, keynote, babble. Yet November's nook-nested news. Alex's sabbatical offer Oxford. Year-long lore literary. Huddle ensued hearth hot. Pros ponderous prestige. Perspectives. Cons continental cleave. Go galactic. I urged. Heart humming hybrid hope. Will orbit. Elias's echo, Oxford. Decision dawned deliberate. Family follows fraction, Liam quarterly. Me mid-sabbatical stint sketching spires. Elias and I summer sojourn. Winter's wander warmed. Holidays have L.A. lit linger. Then London leap. New Year's Thames side. Fog fingering fireworks. Toasts to transients treasured. Spring's Oxford Odyssey opened oddities. Alex's college cloisters creaking centuries. Elias's toddle turning 3 amid punts poetic. My residencies Ricker Siverendered riverscapes resonant. Liam's EU jaunts sinking seamless. Yet June's Jubilee Jared, org overhaul. Board balking bold visions. Liam's loyalty lacerated. Calls crackled crisis. Questioning quit. Counter. Questioning conquer. Summer's salve summoned stateside. Strategy summit sun-soaked. Pivots plotted nonprofit network national. Autonomy amplified. Triumph tentative. But tether titan Liam's return resolute. Fall's foliage framed 40s flirt. 36 dawning dynamic birthdays bookend. Mine mural marathon civic. Alex's academy acclaim. Riley's return Thanksgiving thrilled. Tales tumbling protests passionate. Paramore possible, they slash them. Poli-sci prodigy. Dinner's discourse danced identities intersecting. Elias enamored, big bro/sis. Winter's whisper willed wonders. Elias's preschool pageant. Elf earnest eliciting applause. Resolutions refined. Radical reciprocity date nights dyadic. Delighting differences. Spring's surge seeded serendipity. Book quartet queried. Echoes eternal. Encompassing Elias's era. Riding woven walks Elias wagoned. Babbling beta. Yet May's miracle menaced minor. Elias's fever fierce. Echo echoing Elias's entry vigil's veiled vulnerability. Liam's lapse soothing. Alex's anecdotes alleviating. Recovery rallied resolve. Health hikes habitual. Family fortified. Summer's symphony swelled. Riley's internship org adjacent. Shadowing Liam's legacy. Elias echoing essays earnest. 37 bloomed buoyant. Birthdays buffered Blissmine Gallery Global. Liam's lakeside legacy launch. Fall's fervor fathered fusion. Oxford option opted out. Alex anchoring stateside. Sabbatical shelved solidarity. Winter's weave welcomed waiting. Riley's romance ripening. Visits vetted warm partner pen. Principles aligned. New Year's nursed nascent. Toast to tendrils twining love's layering legacies. In heart's hush. Liam's murmur musing. From duo to dynasty changed. Cherishing. Story scroll unfurled undaunted. Reactions resounding. Realms reimagined. Humanity's heart hallowed. The first snow of the season dusted the San Gabriel Mountains visible from our bungalow's bay window. A soft veil transforming the rugged peaks into something almost ethereal. As Elias now 5. All gangly limbs and gap-toothed grins pressed his nose to the glass. Breath fogging patterns of excitement while chattering about snowman armies for his kindergarten conquests. 37 wrapped us in a warmth that belied the chill outside. Riley home for break. Pen in tow. The pair huddled over hot cocoa plotting post-grad Peace Corps dreams. Alex buried in manuscript margins. Footnotes on footnotes. Liam pacing the study. Phone glued to ear. Hashing hybrid expansions for the org that now spanned continents. Our lives, once a locker room lightning strike, had branched into this bountiful thicket roots deep. Branches bold. Fruits of fosterings and fledglings ripening year by year. That bounty brimmed at holiday hearth. Extended kin converging Chicago cousins via Zoom. Riley's chosen clan crashing couches. Elias directing Nutcracker chaos with wooden spoon baton. Toasts teetered tender. Dad's memory invoked via annual peer pilgrimage. Ash's anniversary affirming arcs. Liam's gift to Maya leather-bound journal. Pages prepped for Echo's epilogue whispered volumes. Keep chronicling. J. Our saga scripture. New Year's nudged nuances. Resolutions revisiting resilience quarterly. Vulnerability vows. Circles confessing crevices candid. January's jolt Jared joyful. Riley's engagement announced Eve's end. Ring simple silver. Pen's proposal poetic under Brown's arches. Family first. Riley beamed. Hugging Elias who parroted any pen. Spring's wedding whirl wove wonder. Nuptials Napa nestled. Vine's verdant vows. Us officiating tandem Liam's liturgy liberty laced. My vows visualized via vows sketched. Elias ring bearer earnest. Toddling aisle with pillow proud. Alex's toast theoretical tender. Love's not linear labyrinth. Luminous. Summer's afterglow amplified ambitions. My quartet launch quartet queried. Tour tracing transatlantic London launch Liam linked. Paris pop-up Alex adjacent. Elias tag along. Eiffel Epiphanies etching etches. Papa Jack. Twilights dance. Dreams do. I murmured. His hand hot in mine. Yet August's azure hid hurdles. Audited verse. Discrepancies dubious demanding diligence. Liam's nights narrowed nocturnal. Stress shadowing sockets. Huddle hearth hot. Sabotage. Suspicion surfaced. Counter. Collective crusade Alex's analytics acuity. My media muster. Riley's remote research rigor. Revelation rumbled rogue exporter. Grudge gristled. Resolution restitution. Reforms robust. Falls 40s flirt faded. 38 dawning deliberate birthdays buffered. Mine mural mosaic monumental. City commissioned chronicle queer Chicago. Riley's relocation ripple post-honeymoon. Boston base with pen. But.org outpost offered hybrid haven. Close orbit. They pledged. Visits vowed. Winter's whisper willed wonders. Elias's school play. Pirate precocious piloting planks. Applause ample. Resolutions refined. Radical rest redux Bali bound. Unplugged utopia. Waves washing worries. Yet January's jewel Jared. Alex's manuscript accepted magnum opus. Fluid frames. Forward by me. Afterward Liam's. Launch London lit. Liam's EU entanglements entwining. Spring's surge swelled siblings. Riley pregnant. Surprise announced April's arbor, nibbling incoming. Elias ecstatic, cousin captain. Summer's swell synchronized, baby moon big sir. Belly's burgeoning, Riley's round. Ours reminiscent Elias era. Redwood's reverie rekindling. 39 bloomed blissful. Birthday's balanced mind bookbound tour triumph. Liam's lakeside legacy lecture. Fall's fervor fathered family. Riley's daughter Dahlia dawning October dawn. Delivery dramatic, but destined cries conquering quiet. Elias, big cuz beaming. Winter's weave welcomed waiting. Holidays heaped Dahlia's debut. Toasts trigenerational. New Year's nursed nascent. Toasts to tendrils love's layering. Lives luminous. Yet 40's fringe flickered. Liam's physical flag chest twinge mid-meeting. EKG echoing caution. Checkups chided cholesterol. Lifestyle litany, slow the sprint. Huddle ensued earnest, sabbatical shared. Me minding org interim. Alex archiving. Riley regional relay. Spring's slowdown soothed, yoga yogic. Hikes healing. Elias's questions quelling qualms, unclely strong. Stronger with us. Assurance. Summer's serenity seeded serendipity. Collaborative capstone org's global summit. My keynote visualized. Alex's panel. Riley's youth lead. Elias mascot mini. 40 dawn fortified. Birthdays buffered buoyant mind exhibit eternal. Echoing dads. Fall's foliage framed futures. Dahlia's dedications. Elias's elementary ease. Winter's whisper willed wholeness. Resolution's radical reverence routines. Gratitude galleries. In snow's soft shroud. Liam's murmur musing. 40 feels forged from flash to firmament.
Có chuyện gì vậy? Ai đã làm chuyện này với bạn? Không liên quan gì đến bạn. Cứ để tôi yên.